Yo, what's up? What's up? Listen, listen, listen. Check this out. Black man, black woman from America. Black man, black woman from the UK. Did you know when you come to Ghana, you actually become white? Yes, it's true. Make sure you stay tuned to this video to find out why. So the concept of this video really started from the first time I came to Ghana, back in 2007. It was the first time in my life I've ever been in an environment like this, all black. It's amazing, it's incredible. And then I said, you know what? This is probably what it feels like for white people to be in America. It's crazy. And then when I moved here, actually, let me back up. Before I moved here, I started taking more trips to Ghana. And I started hearing this term, Oboruni, Oboruni, Oboruni. And I asked myself, like, what's the meaning of Oboruni? And then someone told me it means a white person. It means a foreigner. And initially I was offended by this. And so I began to try to understand what this term actually meant. What are the implications of it? And how does it affect me? So what I'm gonna do today is take you through a couple things. Number one, I'm gonna talk about what is an Oboruni, where you will hear the term, what does it mean to be an Oboruni in Ghana, some examples about how it looks, and what you should feel about it. So before we get into the content, one of the things that I've never really heard too many people talk about is the other side of what it means to be Oboruni in Ghana. As I said, when you ask the question, what is it? I may get this wrong, but I've heard several variations. On one hand, I heard it just simply means a white person. On the other hand, I've heard it means a foreigner. I've even had conversations and I've read some scholarly articles that said that it actually comes from two terms that I can't pronounce. That means that it means like a trickster, you know, and it was originally given to the white folks who came because they were, you know, tricking and conning people or what may have you. And later through time, the term just stuck for all foreigners. So when you come to Ghana, especially as an African American, you probably will hear the term Oboruni. Don't be offended, because initially, when you hear the term, somebody may just be referring to you as a white person or a foreigner, but some of the things we seldom talk about is Oboruni privilege. So when we talk about Oboruni privilege, here's the thing to remember. It's not about color necessarily, but it's about culture. That's why you can come, be as black as midnight, come from America, but when someone hears your voice, they'll call you Oboruni, because it's not necessarily about color, it's about culture. Where will you hear the term? Basically, almost everywhere, especially from children and the less culturally exposed. It's so common when we bring groups from the US, when they come, especially when we go through small towns, you'll hear the little children saying, Oboruni, Oboruni, Oboruni. And it's actually at this point, it's kind of laughable. And initially when I came to Ghana, I was correcting everybody. Don't call me Oboruni, me Bibini. But then I realized, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. So you probably will hear the term in most places that you go, especially if you go to rural places, and especially if you're around a lot of children, let's say from rural areas. So, I mean, what does it mean to be Oboruni in Ghana? You know, as I said previously, you know, we cannot understand culture without understanding the legacy and the impact of colonization and the missionary movement. I did a whole video about that. The description is in the link. Make sure you check that out. You know, whiteness in Ghana sometimes unconsciously is viewed as supreme, the ultimate, the status quo. It's deified, the savior, you know what I'm saying, in many cases. And when people like myself come to Ghana, sometimes we're associated with that type of mentality, especially, you know what I'm saying, from a lot of Ghanaians. So people like myself, sometimes we come in and we're looked at as like a savior almost. And when you understand the economic situation in Ghana, a lot of people are in poverty. So when you come, you a meal, you a snack. So people see you as, number one, a foreigner who has economic opportunities that can benefit me. So where does the privilege come in? Well, here's where the privilege come in. When you're coming in and you're kind of already viewed as like a higher person, more supreme, associated with whiteness, a person who's associated with having money or what may have you, people treat you differently. Just imagine this, right? Imagine if a very famous celebrity or whatever walks into a restaurant. That person will be treated differently than, let's say, a person who is presumed to be poor. Just because the person assumes that a couple things. Number one, they have something that I want, or that person can give me something that I need, or it's just a famous person that I want to get close to. It may not be to that degree, but that happens often when African Americans come to Ghana. People either want to get close to you, sometimes just generally because they want to know you, they're intrigued by you. Sometimes people want to gain financially or economically from you. Sometimes people just want to hear your story of why you came to Ghana. Nevertheless, these types of situations exist. So how does this Oboruni privilege look? How does it play out every day in society? There's a couple different ways. Number one, a lot of times you as Oboruni, you're given extra attention versus the average Ghanaian. Sometimes you're giving preferential treatment in business and other opportunities because remember, people assume that you have something more value, you have more money, you're coming from this place with more money than some other person. Sometimes it comes in the form as you being seen before the average Ghanaian. If you break something or even owe somebody money, sometimes people are less harsh with you because they assume, oh, you have the money, so it will be coming. There's no problem at all. And it happens on all levels, from the leadership to the average person. And it happens subconsciously because remember, there is just this preferential treatment for foreigners in Ghana. So we've talked a little bit about what is the meaning of Oboruni, where you will hear the term, how does it look? Now, I want to give you a couple of examples. Sometimes, depending on how I'm dressed, if I have my nose mask on and I don't say anything, you don't know if I'm from Ghana or somewhere from the outside, especially if you can't hear my accent. So on this particular day, I remember being with a colleague of mine when I was taking the chocho back home from school. And my colleague is Asian American. And I remember being on the chocho and she was asking like how much it is. And the guy next to us was like so kind, so polite, telling her, this is 1 CD, this is 50 pesos, this is how much it is. And I'm not saying that people are not normally kind like that, but the reality is in most cases, people are not that kind to, the average Ghanaian. So it's just this going out of your way for like preferential treatment, trying to explain, trying to be overly nice or what may have you. I'm not saying in that situation it was malicious or somebody was trying to do something for their own benefit, but like these are some of the things that happen. Another example is when, now this is one of the crazy examples I experienced. One day I was at the market and me and some of my Ghanaian friends were, bargaining stuff. It was at Accra Markets, the Accra Art Center. We were bargaining stuff. So we're bargaining stuff. Literally, this is what happened. Check this out. A white man walked by. The lady literally stopped talking to us and ran after him. Because I guess the assumption is, I can get more money from this white man than these people. So it's just this unconscious thing of like, there's more value here than here. And maybe it's simply because there's more money I can get from this person than these people. So this is the way that it looks. One final example is, it happened recently actually, so shouts out to Tony. He's a good friend of mine. He's Ghanaian, but he came back to Ghana to do some research. And he and I walked into a restaurant where he's probably the more well-known person than me. I knew the people there, but I didn't really know them like that. He's been having a relationship with them for years. We both walk in with our nose masks. The lady immediately greets me, oh, how are you? I haven't seen you for a long time, blah, 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 blah. And she didn't even greet, Tony, the guy. And so he, had a short kind of like playful conversation like, you've known me for years, you didn't even greet me, blah, 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 blah. So it's one of those things to where it's like, it's unconscious. And in most cases, it's not malicious. It's not that somebody like sees you as Oboruni, they'll try to rob you, although stuff like that does happen. I just recently did have my wallet stolen. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming for you when I find out who you are. But all that to say, you know what I'm saying? Those things happen. So what does all of this mean? What does it mean to have Oboruni privilege in Ghana? Well, just understand it's a part of the culture. Don't be offended when you hear the term or when people refer to you as such. It's more, and the more you become integrated into the culture, the less strong, that offense becomes. The other thing is, you need to learn how to utilize your Oboruni privilege, especially if you're trying to stand in position to help people who may not be able to help themselves, or you may be able to have a voice for the voiceless. oftentimes you can use that to really stand in the gap to help people. You can also call it out when you see it, because the reality is it exists. And sometimes you have to be the one to stand up and say something, because sometimes the average Ghanaian may see it, but the culture is so reserved that they may not say anything about it. But you will have the opportunity to speak up and say something. The other thing I'll say is that your Oboruni privilege does not work apart from common cultural courtesies. So if you're not greeting people, if you're not saying please and thank you, you just can't skip over the line because you're Oboruni. The reality is they go hand in hand. So it's almost kind of like a mini superpower, so learn how to use it wisely. So in conclusion, listen, when you come to Ghana, remember, as an African American, you're not black, you are Oboruni, all right? You will have privilege, use it wisely, use it responsibly, but enjoy your time in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. I sincerely appreciate it. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video. Till next time,